Hello everybody, Emerald here with Reactor Online, and today we have the inaugural episode of Conversation Corner, and I'm joined by Ermac and Sub-Zero for the conversation. Say hey guys.
Hey,
Hey,
guys
what's up?
doing?
And we have a really interesting topic today. Just today, the Civil War was announced for MechWarrior Online, which incorporates new technologies and new mechs. So where I figured we'd start the conversation is with the new mechs. There's 4 of them. And then there's a ton of new technology, so we'll get to that in just a little while. So why don't we just jump straight into it, guys? Let's take a look at the Uziel. It's the first new Inner Sphere mech coming out. And
Yep.
what's something that jumped out at you from the Uziel?
Well, if
This-
you look at the 5P variant of the Uziel, it has a light PPC in its center torso.
Yes, it
That to
does.
me was-
Yes. It also has the new heavy machine guns in the right arm and a lot of jump jets. So this will be this mech's turn. I think the way this mech is turning out is also as potentially a new Pop-Tart type mech.
Yeah, I think it's a really good addition for Inner Sphere mix.
Did you guys take a look at the I guess the hero variant as well?
Yeah, it looks
looks pretty
very
good,
interesting
yeah.
how it has 4 light PPCs in a
4
medium mech.
light
Or like
PVCs. 4 light PVCs and 6 jump jets. So
Pop-Tart for days.
Yeah, that's going to be Pop-Tart for days. That'll be an impressive build. We'll talk about the technologies in a little bit, and we'll kind of see what the differences are between the light PPC and the other new PPC variants. I just want to point out that I think the mech looks awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Looks
This-
fantastic. They did a really good job.
Yeah. This is one of those mechs, right? You played MechWarrior 4. It's in the intro video. You see it right away. You play the first few missions. So pretty iconic mech that I think a lot of folks are going to be happy about. Let's jump over to the Annihilator, which is a very interesting mech. I think they did a decent job with the conversion over to MechWarrior Online.
I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have
Looks
that
really
long
cool, yeah.
neck as in MechWarrior 3.
Right.
Yeah. But I think it might have a slight issue if its head is all the way up there.
Yeah. People are gonna snipe at you with that, yeah.
So how's
Either
that
you're
gonna
gonna
work out?
Either they're gonna make that headshot, like the actual head, like hit registration very small, or they might maybe move the head to the center, even though it's not.
No, I don't think they
Nah,
do
I
that.
doubt that.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think
I
they
don't
do that. But I think you're right. I think it's going to be that little glass right there. It's like you
Yeah.
have to hit that. But even that seems, I mean, with the accuracy of like a Gauss rifle, right, that you can get, if this thing is standing still, it shouldn't really be that hard to hit this thing in the head.
Especially when you're
Yep.
peeking over the hill, the first thing they can see is your head.
Well, exactly. So I can just imagine this thing, like, not even intentionally, right? It's on Canyon Network. You walking up to like
Yeah.
a wall, and your head's already peeking above.
It's already peeking out. Like the Loch Ness Monster.
Well, exactly. And, I mean, this thing's arms are pretty low. They kind of showed the picture with its arms up a bit, but I mean, his arms are going to be pretty low compared to his head. So, yeah, we'll see what that's like. Did you guys see the top speed for most of the variants?
Yep, the highest speed it seems to be is 48.6.
That's with the max.
Yep, with
Engine.
max engine, only
Right.
48.6, and it
Yeah.
starts at 32.4, which will be fun to see people.
There's no way. There's
There's
no way
yeah.
anybody's going to stick with that
Yeah.
engine. I mean, you look today at going 48.6 in any of the mechs, right? And there are just certain maps where you know
It's
you're
just-
going to get hit.
Just too slow sometimes. Just
Too slow. You're not going to be able to get out of the way or even move into position before, somebody's on top of you. So,
We've even had experiences with, versing direwolves or being in direwolves where we just get shot in the
Yeah.
back because
Yep.
we just couldn't keep up with the team because of how slow we are.
exactly. So, interesting. Maybe with some of the skill tree changes, we'll see if that ends up making a difference. I don't know if overall maybe smaller engines might become the norm, and maybe slow the game down overall a bit. I think that's maybe a possibility with the skill tree, but we'll see what happens. Let's jump down to the loadouts. The first loadout is heavy on LB10s.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's like what the stock loadout for this.
Yep.
Yep. Stock.
Yep. The second variant is heavy on AC10s, so two heavy AC ballistic type variants. That's pretty devastating. I mean, when we see that on Kodiaks nowadays, that's definitely gonna hurt.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. At least with this one, the weapons are a little bit lower down, so it isn't as bad as
That's
Kodiak's.
true.
And
Yes.
it's also a lot slower than
Right.
a Kodiak.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
I
We've
just-
got a. Oh, go
I
ahead.
just noticed the hard points
Mhm.
for the Annihilator 2A and the 1A is exactly the same, except for the 1A gets one extra laser on its right arm.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're
They
right.
could
the
have
ro-
changed that up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, the right torso for the 2A gets one extra ballistic. So it looks like that's all what they did.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that.
Differently.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yep. So trading one ballistic for one energy there. Yep. Mhm.
I didn't see that. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm. 1E 4 peeps. Interesting.
Yep.
Or PPC.
Yep. Yep. And then we have, and the 1X is a LB10 variant, just like the first one. And then we get into the 1P, which has one of the new weapons, right?
Yep. Two rotary
yes.
AC5s, two rotary AC2s, and also snub nose PPC.
Wow.
Center.
Right.
Center torso, yeah.
So it seems like that one's also 2 slots.
Yes. Yep. Yep. That'll be really interesting to see how people kind of mess with that a bit. We'll talk about the rotary ACs,
Yeah.
and how I think that they're going to work, but we'll get to that in a little while. But yeah, overall, I don't think this is really a mech that a lot of people were expecting.
No,
I wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting it because of how hard it would be to like balance them and how to make them fit in the MechWarrior Online.
Exactly, right? I mean, there's so many angles to that. I mean, first of all, we know for MechWarrior 3, he's so freaking slow.
And he's a very tall mech too.
So tall, right?
His head's all the way up there, and his center torso is giant. So
Doesn't really seem like, in the current state of the game at least, that it really seems like a good fit. But
I guess what they wanted to do was to give him, because of his huge center, I guess just give him an XL and put just the biggest weapons you can put onto him. Just
Right.
super high damage
Mhm.
alpha strikes.
Yeah, so this one will be interesting to see how people use them.
You should be the new escort mech.
That would be interesting, actually. Yes, yes, yes. Going 32.4. I mean, I guess that's pretty much how fast the Atlas moves right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you want to move on to the next mech? We're going to move into the
Yeah.
clan mechs. All right, so the first
Yep.
one is the Cougar mech. So, Ermac, you had some initial doubts about how this thing turned out in terms of looks.
Well, from MechWarrior 4, I just think this one doesn't look as good as the MechWarrior 4, because the MechWarrior 4 did looked a lot smoother, I guess you can say. Well, this one, the missiles are a little boxy, and the side, like, sticking out parts, I think they stick out a little bit too far. I think they should maybe like just smooth it out a little bit.
Smooth
I think
it
his
out a bit.
arms look a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of remind me of a tall adder. That's kind of what
Yeah.
it reminds me of, which is not a bad thing because I love the look of the adder mech. But yeah, I mean overall, I think still great design, great take on it. Not quite maybe exactly as how we remember it from previous iterations. Let's take
It still looks pretty good. Yeah, still looks pretty good.
I do like the early adopter rewards. There is a MILF carton on there, which is interesting. All right, let's take a quick look at the loadouts and the variants. What's the first thing that jumped out at you guys here?
It's,
Not really
at top
too
speed is
much.
gonna be 81 kph. That's the first worry because it's a medium mech.
Mm-hmm.
The
I feel like it should go faster.
Yeah. But if you look at
Wait.
the loadouts,
I'm sorry, it's a light mech. Oh my god.
It's
Not
quite
even a
slow
medium.
for a light mech.
I'm sorry, it's a light mech. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. If you look at the loadouts, though, I mean, these are impressive loadouts for a
Yeah.
light mech, right? I mean, there's one variant. Which one is that? The C variant has a Gauss rifle and 5 ER medium lasers, one in the head.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, the E variant has some of the new weaponry. I see the ATMs there.
Mm-hmm. You have ATM 6. Looks like 2 of those.
And then the hero one is ATM 9s and also heavy machine guns.
Right.
Interesting how that's the only way he can carry, so ATMs then might be pretty heavy. Considering that's all he has,
Right.
2 ATMs with 4 ammo and only 2 machine guns with. Interestingly, if you look at the left torso ammo, it says 1.5 times ammo.
I think that's saying 1 ton and a half.
Interesting.
ton
1.5 tons. 1.5
Yeah,
tons.
1.5 tons.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Okay, that was
It looked weird at first, yeah.
looked weird.
Yeah. Yep. So this mech is also notable because it's the cheapest pre-order out of the mechs that we're going to talk about. This one for the standard pack, I think we said is $15. Yep.
15 bucks.
15,
Yep.
yeah. And it's $10 cheaper for the collector than the others, and then for the ultimate, it's $20 cheaper than the other ones.
Okay. Let's move on to maybe the most anticipated mech of all time.
That all 3 of us were wanting.
Oh yeah.
Not
for
just
sure.
the 3 of us. It's like
Yeah,
half the community.
Everybody wanted this
Yeah.
thing.
Half the community asked for this thing, and it's finally here, the Mad Cat Mark II.
Oh yeah.
What do you guys think of how they managed to render this thing for MechWarrior Online?
I think they made it look pretty good.
Looks
I
freaking
like it.
awesome.
Yeah.
I like how they still kept the tilted missile racks and the high-mounted arms. It's just
I think the
really
arms
good
look
looking.
fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
I like how it's got beefy arms. 'Cause
Exactly.
That's
I
what
was gonna
carries
mention
its
the same
heavy
thing.
weapons.
Yeah.
Since it carries its heavy weapons, it should be a giant arm.
I was going to mention the same thing. I mean, this thing looks like a beefy, powerful mech. We did note earlier, I mean, it's got pretty long legs, so that kind of indicates maybe that it's going to be maybe a little bit faster than some of the other assault mechs. So why don't we jump down to the variants? Of course, one of my favorites, the first variant, is the dual Gauss loadout.
Absolutely, yeah.
The iconic loadout for this thing is pretty good. Top speed of 64.8.
That's
bad.
actually pretty good.
Pretty good.
And plus,
good.
you can go a little bit faster, go up to 400, so maybe get up to maybe 70.
About 70 kph.
About 70, yeah.
This will be a fast mech, fast 90 ton.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, yeah, I absolutely can't wait for this thing. Jump jets, obviously, right? Iconic jump jets on this assault mech.
Yep.
So, it's going to be able to move around pretty well, get through some, some of the more difficult terrain and things like that. So that'll make this thing really, really, really fun to use. Anything else jump out at you guys in terms of the loadouts?
I like how the A variant is the Mad Cat Prime loadout. It's like the exact same except upgraded from machine guns to heavy machine guns.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. And the 4 has 4 jump jets, while the other ones have 3. So I guess this one maybe a Pop-Tart, maybe mech.
Could be. Yep.
And also its head has the light active probe.
One of the new infotech type equipment. Yes. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Just looking.
And
at...
also, I was looking at the hero since there's no missiles in its left and right torso. I wonder if they'll put like the energy weapons on top, like the missile.
Oh, right. Kind of like the one of the like the C variants of the Timberwolf.
The Timberwolf, yeah.
Yeah. That would definitely make
I think
sense.
that'll look cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The B variant has the Ultra AC-20s in the arms.
That looks pretty powerful.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I actually can't wait for this thing. it's been a long time coming. A lot of folks have asked for this. We were kind of hoping to get it without even a timeline advancement, right? With the
Yeah.
current tech in the game, with the current weapons in the game. Hey, give us a Mad Cat Mark II we can play with. So this is gonna be pretty sweet.
And for $20, I feel like this is the mech to buy.
I feel like if I had to guess, right, the Kodiak was a huge seller.
Oh yeah.
This
Yeah.
one is probably right up there, if not gonna surpass it by a good bit.
Especially for the
Absolutely.
faction warfare, 10 tons lighter, because everybody's doing Kodiaks and faction warfare, so maybe 10 tons lighter, almost, or maybe just as good as the Kodiak.
Yep.
Maybe get some other heavier mechs.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good one.
Awesome. Oh, by the way, what do you guys kind of feel about the some of the camos on the collector packs and the ultimate packs?
For the collector pack, I really do like the way the Uziel turned out with the green in there.
Okay. Yep.
Same thing with the Mech at MK2. That looks fantastic. Yeah, I mean the Cougar looks alright, and the Annihilator, it's not my thing.
The
I don't think it looks
Annihilator
that good.
we said reminded us of like a Super Metroid
Yeah,
area,
the
right?
Super Metroid, yeah, one of the maps in Super Metroid. And for the Ultimate Pack, they're all okay looking.
Yeah,
they
not bad,
I'd say
not
they're
bad.
all okay.
They kind of gave them all faces, I guess. Yeah. So literally, the Uziel has teeth around the cockpits. The Annihilator, of course, kind of looks like it has a face on the front. The Cougar got like a snake head, and the Mad Cat Mark II kind of looks like a shark. So
Yeah,
interesting.
I guess it's kind of fitting for a Mech.
It is
Oh, for
fitting,
sure.
yeah.
A great white shark,
Yes.
Mech and Mark II. I think that's a pretty good fit.
Yes. Awesome, guys. So, any other thoughts on the new mechs, and then we'll get ready to move on to the tech.
The only one thing I would say I'm slightly disappointed,
Mm-hmm.
out of all these mechs, only one of them came with ECM, so none of them came with mask or anything. I feel like maybe some of them should have gotten maybe a mask or something. Especially for the ones that are not as different as the other ones. Maybe make them different because they can have a mask or something.
Right.
Especially for Annihilator, I think one of them with a mask would be interesting.
I
This is already slow.
I think that could be a whole nother conversation corner, right?
Yeah.
I kind of agree, right? I think that there probably should be, a little bit less focus on like big loadouts, right? Weapon loadouts, right? And try to balance it with some of the other stuff that's in the game, it's like some of that equipment.
Yep.
But we can have that conversation in another talk.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to, the new weapons and equipment. And holy crap. I think nobody was expecting quite this level of additional things in the game. Now, granted, some of it is really just, small adjustments on existing tech and weapons. So we'll talk about that. But even regardless from that, I think most of the community was kind of thinking, yeah, we might get, a couple new ballistics, a couple of new lasers, and maybe medium range missiles, maybe. But this was actually a pretty good turnout.
Yeah.
So let's just do this. Let's walk through them one by one. Kind of talk through what they are, and then I think some of these are simpler than others, so we'll kind of bypass the ones that are. We'll just breeze over the ones that are simpler. So Inner Sphere, we'll start there. Getting up to speed with LBs 2s, 5s, and 20s, as well as the Ultra ACs.
Now, I wonder if the Ultra ACs will be exactly the same like the Clan Ultras.
That's all I was thinking about. Like, if it just shoots one giant bullet, and you shoot two Ultra AC 20, two giant bullets, is boom, boom, 40 damage. I think that's so much better than the Clan version. I don't know.
Which
I
is
don't know how
like,
they're
what,
gonna
8 bullets
maybe
or something
balance
like that?
Yeah, versus the 8 bullets for 2 shots.
Yep. I will say, this is the equipment that, oftentimes when we're building our Inner Sphere mechs, right, it's like, why isn't there a slightly smaller or larger autocannon that I can put on this thing. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
overall, definitely a welcome addition. It just helps, you know, sometimes when it's difficult to fill in the slots because it's just the limited weaponry, and you end up kind of going with the same builds over and over again. I'm hoping that this will add some more variety by having kind of these different weight classes for
Yep.
these weapons. Next two ones are pretty straightforward. The ER small laser, ER medium laser, you know, finally rounds out the, you know, ER large laser that they had before. So extended range lasers. I do wonder
Long waited for. Yeah.
I do wonder how far they'll go, right? So are these going to be equivalent in range to the clan versions?
I think maybe a little bit less.
Probably, you know,
but
yeah.
but they're probably a little bit more heat efficient still.
Kind of
I'm
following that
thinking.
pattern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, I think this is a welcome change. The
Yeah.
existing medium laser and small lasers for inner sphere, man. I mean, sometimes
I
I'm-
wish you had that a little bit more range.
yeah. I mean, I'm more of a medium range to long range type player anyway, as opposed to, you know, like a close up brawler all the time. So this is definitely going to be welcome in my mech lab. Moving on to the Streak SRMs. So we had the Streak SRM2s right now, and we're finally getting the Streak SRM4s and Streak SRM6s. My
Pretty
initial thought on
straightforward.
these was these are going to be heavy. I'm sure these are going to be
Yeah.
heavy. You know, kind of following along with the other missile racks that Inner Sphere has. You know, kind of when I think about those weight classes for the LRMs, I'm just afraid that these are going to be too heavy to really be a good pick. But
We'll see what they have to hold up to.
yeah. All right. The more interesting ones. Here we go. Light and heavy Gauss rifles. Awesome. These are exactly what you'd expect. Light Gauss rifle, weighs a little bit less, shoots farther, does a little bit less damage. Heavy Gauss, more damage, weighs more, and has less range.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I
I
like
can't
that.
wait. I
Yeah,
can't
I
wait for the
think-
heavy Gauss rifle.
I'm gonna guess light Gauss, maybe 12 tons heavy, maybe
Mhm.
18, maybe 3 ton different for each. Gonna
I don't
guess.
know. I don't know how many mechs, Inner Sphere mechs, will be able to make use of the heavy Gauss. I mean, it's already the regular Gauss is obviously already so much of an investment in your
Yeah,
mech.
15 tons. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, well, I think because if you go further down, they have the new light engine and the light
That's-
ferrous armor.
yep.
So maybe with those, maybe
Exactly. Right.
you can fit that.
Right.
So I guess we'll talk about those two things a little bit later.
I do love the light Gauss, though. I mean, this
Yeah.
who doesn't want more Gauss rifles on their mechs, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so the light Gauss just makes that so much more accessible. I can even imagine, we'll talk about the light engine, like you just said. Inner Sphere mechs with multiple Gauss rifles.
Yeah, I'm already dreaming of my King Crab before of them.
Holy crap! All right,
Or like Gauss.
let's move on. Rotary ACs. Holy moly!
Finally,
yes,
yes.
yes.
I think this is one of those guns we all agree. This is one of those weapons that has just been missing. Like this has so much potential to be a really, really interesting weapon to use, right? It kind of depends on how they end up doing the mechanics for it and how it ends up performing, obviously. But they mention here that they can jam if they're fired for too long, similar to an Ultra AC. And this is actually pretty much in line with discussions that we've had in the past, right? So it says the spinning barrels will likely have a ramp up time before they start firing and a ramp down time after they stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it works like a minigun, yeah.
Yep. So it'll be a trade-off, right? It'll be some interesting trade-offs, right? You're like in the middle of a fight. Maybe the enemy just barely is out of sight, maybe around the corner or something like that. Do you stop shooting? Do you keep shooting just in case they peek their head again? Right? Because imagine it takes 1.5 seconds even, right, for this thing to stop spinning, and then 1.5 seconds for this thing to start spinning again before it's ready to fire. This should finally add some more strategy, at least, to firefights.
Yeah, I think the funny thing is when it's cooling down, then it jams. I'm
That would be
sure that'll get
hilarious.
annoying. It's
Right.
like slowing down, but then it still somehow just jams.
Do you think that would actually happen? I don't know. I don't know if they'll
I
do
don't
that.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have like a specific time thing or specific amount of bullets
Yeah.
on what
Yeah.
does the jam, but
Right. I'm guessing it'll be random, right? It'll be some
Yeah, it might
random
be
modifier. But yeah.
the longer you shoot, the higher chance, I guess.
I'm also curious if it'll be like an increasing heat scale, right? So maybe as you fire those first couple of rounds,
Not that hot.
heat generation per second or whatever is pretty low, but then it starts to ramp up. Even if it doesn't jam, heat is still increasing, maybe exponentially or something like that. So maybe that could be another factor that makes this gun a little bit more interesting to use.
I'll be interesting how they were gonna do the damage for each of these. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it does 2 damage and 5 damage,
I feel like that'll be
that'll be a little
a
bit
lot
too
of damage.
much.
Yeah,
So
a
they
little
might
too
do a
much.
little bit less, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that they're gonna fire really that quickly. Maybe twice as fast as the current gun. So imagine an AC2, bum, 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 at
Yeah.
best. Maybe
Mhm,
this thing
mhm.
fires slightly faster than that. But probably not like a machine gun, which is
Yeah,
the next category.
going back, but it does say
Uh-huh.
extremely rapid firing, so I don't know if
Well,
they're
that's true.
actually going to do it, because they said
Yeah.
they're going to make it extremely rapid firing.
That's
so.
true. I mean, what they could do, I guess, is maybe the AC2 actually does, one damage per round or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe even does just like half a damage per round.
Yeah, half a damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be the only way to balance that.
Yeah, I think that's how they did in MechWarrior for Mercenaries. It
Mm-hmm.
did less than 1 damage, I think. I don't remember, but
Okay.
we'll see how they do that.
Yep. So jumping back, we've got the lights and heavy machine guns. I think this is a welcome addition, right?
Yeah.
How much? Well, one thing that's interesting, right? So the current machine gun, how much does it weigh? A quarter of a pound? A quarter of a ton?
For Inner Sphere, I think it's half a ton.
Half a ton. So
Yeah,
I imagine that these, I guess this would then be a quarter of a ton for the light, and maybe 1 ton for the heavy.
I was thinking they might be the same since they're both getting a benefit and getting less of a benefit, so they might make them the same weight.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So it mentions, light machine gun, longer range, less damage, and heavy machine gun, more damage, less range. I wonder if the light machine guns will turn out like the Living Legends machine guns. Maybe. Probably
Maybe.
not.
Not sure. I don't think they'll have that much more
Yeah.
range.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same range maybe as the SRMs that we have now. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, right, light machine guns twice the range, right? So whatever the current range is, maybe like 120, I think, for
Something like
optimum
that, yeah.
range.
Something like that.
Yeah.
240, yeah. All right. Getting some more interesting stuff. MRMs, medium range missiles. We got 10, 20, 30, and apparently even the 40 pack is going to make it.
That is going to be devastating.
Yes. I can't, there's a few different ways that I'm sure they'll balance this, or they could balance this. They do mention that the MRMs, true to MechWarrior 4 at least, are unguided low damage missiles. So unguided means, hey, if you shoot that MRM 40 and you miss, you just wasted 40 missiles.
Yep, there's
Yeah.
no lock on, no nothing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I'm guessing that these will probably do half a damage each per missile. So
Yeah.
MRM 40 will do 20 damage. But we'll see. It will be interesting to see, mechs with multiple MRM 40s, right, and what that ends up looking like.
The other thing I'm thinking about is I hope not all 40 shoot at once, because I know that's how the other missiles work for the Inner Sphere, but I think
Yeah.
just 40 all shooting at once is a little bit too much.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I was actually thinking that it would be
I
like
don't know.
that, right? So the indicator here, I thought would
Yeah.
indicate how many shoot at once, but you're right. Yeah, maybe that's one way to balance it. Yep.
Yeah, maybe do it like how the clan LRMs work,
Mm-hmm. Right.
just rapid firing one after another.
I see. Yes, I got you. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how it was in MechWarrior 4. I think it was like that too.
Mm-hmm.
What if it shoots like half like of what it is? Like let's say like you have the MRM40s, it shoots like 20 like 2 volleys of 20s. That'd be pretty interesting.
Right. So
we could do that.
exactly right. So the picture that they have here, how many barrels? How many barrels does this thing have? I guess this is the 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
14,
10.
20. It says,
20,
it
yeah.
says 20, yeah.
So they could be showing the MRM20 there, or maybe it's the MRM40. Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
All right, moving on. Rocket launchers, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah.
One-shot launchers, yeah. Fired unguided, low damage rockets, very low tonnage per launcher.
So
That'll be interesting.
we haven't actually had a chance to use these in tabletop, but is it literally you have a rocket launcher 20 that shoots all 20 at once in one shot and that's it?
I think it's just a rocket launcher 20 means the size, if I remember correctly. So it's
Okay.
like one giant rocket.
Okay, I mean the picture
If I
does show 20 barrels.
Yeah, so it might be 20. I don't know. They might change it up like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But you only get one ammo, which would be interesting.
right, right. This seems like one of those guns, right, where you've filled up almost all of your hard points. You've got like 2 tons left. Okay, what the heck am I going to spend my 2 tons on? Maybe I'm maxed out on armor or whatever. And usually you try to rearrange your weapons, just to get like that extra bit of efficiency out of your tonnage. Maybe this is what that's for now. It's like, hey, you have an extra ton or two. Stick the rocket launcher on there and use it in the worst situation in the match, right? Where you just need that one extra shot.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it'll be low heat as well, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, couple more updates to the PPC. Now we have light and heavy PPC, and then the next gun is actually also the snub-nose PPC. So 3 new PPC variants.
So PPC weighs less, uses fewer slots, generates less heat, but does less damage.
Mm-hmm.
I think we
And-
noticed from the mechs we're looking at when they had the snub nose. Was it light PPC or the snub nose PPC they had in the center torso?
I think we saw for both where they only had 2 slots.
So yeah, the light and snub nose might be only like 2 slots for the PPC.
The only
That would be
interesting thing
interesting.
is for that Yuzi, how I was able to carry 4 light PPCs. So I wonder how light they actually are since they can carry 4 of them.
Right.
Yep.
I don't think we saw a mech with a heavy PPC.
I didn't see
so-
one. Yeah, that's kind of the other thing that I noticed, right? Is we did see some of the new tech on the new mechs, but don't you think that they should have like showed off like all this new stuff, on the new mechs that they picked? That would have been kind of nice. But in any case, the snub-nose PPC, of course, is interesting because it has no minimum range, right?
Oh yeah, look at that. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Weighs less, uses fewer slides, and no minimum range. They do mention its damage drops off quickly, so I'm guessing that this thing's maximum range might be, 300 meters or something like that. Maybe even less. I don't know. Probably be pretty short. I do hope that whenever they add like these new PPCs and even like for some of the other guns that we talked about. I mean, I'm hoping that they have new animations for these as well, right? So the heavy PPC hopefully looks like it's a significantly larger particle shot, right?
Yeah,
Significantly heftier, if you will, in terms of the sound, in terms of the visuals, in terms of the impact to the target mech, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really hoping that they incorporate that as well.
So how much damage are we thinking for these guns?
So
Are we
how
thinking
much? Yeah, how much does the current PPC do? Inner sphere.
Inner sphere
10
does 10 damage.
10
Yeah.
damage. Okay.
So I'm thinking light maybe 5 or 6 damage, but that could be like the snub nose PPC too.
So what does tabletop tell us for these? That would be the question. That would be the question. I'm trying to look it up real quick. Light PPC on Sarna is 5 damage. 5 damage. And I'm guessing the heavy PPC is going to be 15 damage.
I think so, yeah. I think heavy was 15.
Heavy is 15. Oh, actually, yes, heavy is 15. And then we've got the snub nose.
I don't see anything for the snub nose.
I think it depended on the range.
Oh, right. Yeah,
It was
so
one of those types of weapons.
okay, so this is going to be interesting, right? If they actually introduce this mechanic. So, right, at the shortest ranges, where it has the most impact, in tabletop, this thing does 10 damage, and then it starts to decline after that. So, short range on tabletop, 10 damage, medium range, 8 damage, and long range, actually just 5 damage. So
Interesting. That also shows that 6 tons, so it might be just 1 ton less than a regular PPC.
Right. I mean,
It says here that the heat is still 10.
So
I mean, like, I think what the PPC right now with the ERPPC is about 10 as well.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I think the ERPPC is what, 15 heat?
Yeah, ERPPC is 15. Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes, of course, 3 critical slots. This one will take 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep, 2.
Or I'm guessing it'll take 2 in MechWarrior Online at least. Yeah.
I'm gonna guess it probably does 8 damage. I'm pretty sure they're just gonna use the medium range, the average, so it might just do 8 damage. I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
That'll be interesting what they do. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then we finally get to actually some of my favorites, which is the non-weapon stuff. Right. Let's make the game more interesting for the other aspects of the game as well that involve strategy and movements and those types of things. Tactics. So the first one that we have is the light engine for the inner sphere. This thing is, like you said earlier, Ermac, this thing is essentially a Clan XL engine.
It works like a Clan XL. I don't think you save as much weight. This one you only save 25% weight, while a regular XL is 50%, so you don't save as much, but it works like a Clan XL.
Yep.
So you lose both torsos, you're done.
We did see, I believe that, the Annihilator and the one of the other mechs, I think, on the upper range of the variants, had some of the light engines actually. So we will see this one just based on the stock mechs there. I mean, the additional engine choice is always nice, right?
Yeah.
Something in between XL and the regular engine is simply appreciated just because the XL takes away so many slots that something in between will be kind of nice. Yeah.
Especially for some mechs that have giant side torsos, so it's like kind of risky, but you have to do it.
So
this one would be a good.
You're thinking of my Mauler mech, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe Mauler or.
I just hope that, like, let's say people in general don't choose this over the standard engine. Like, I hope it doesn't just replace the standard engine.
It's kind of like heatsink to double heatsink. It's just something that you move up to, regardless. It's just always better. Yeah.
Like, let's just hope there is like a small downside of choosing the light engine over the standard engine, or even the XL engine.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Yeah. I just hope it doesn't become the norm.
Right. Well, it does sound like, I mean, it's going to take up more slots, so that'll be the trade-off. Right. If you need those slots, then you're gonna have to, stick with the regular engine.
Yeah.
All right, next we've got a new armor type, the light ferrofibrous armor. So this thing is just right in between, I guess, the regular armor and the ferrofibrous armor.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it only takes up half the critical slots.
So, okay, good, I guess, right? A little bit more choice
I guess
there.
for those, because sometimes you couldn't do both, but you have those extra slots that you can't really do anything with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely one of those people that if I could take ferrofibrous over endo steel, I do. That's just the type of player I am, right? Yeah. But the the ferrofibrous is often not possible because I need the extra weight, and only the endo steel provides that today. But I would like slightly more armor value, right? I mean, I think that's a good investment for most of my mechs. So this should be a good addition for me.
Absolutely. Same for me.
Yeah.
All right, we've got the stealth armor up next, which this one, I don't know if anybody really anticipated this one, honestly.
I've never heard of it.
I never heard of it.
So this one It's an armor type they mentioned here, an armor type that takes up 12 critical slots and is used alongside the ECM suite. When the ECM is toggled, the mech becomes invisible to all sensors when it's wearing this armor, remaining visible only to the naked eye. However, the system has some negative effects while active, such as heat buildup. Interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very interesting, yeah.
So, does that mean that a UAV can't spot the mech? A tag can't spot the mech?
Or seismic.
Seismic
Yeah, maybe not
maybe can't spot the mech?
Well, it says all sensors, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, right.
Maybe tag still might, since I think they consider tag a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this will be.
This
Want to
would
be
be
very
interesting.
sneaky.
And when they say heat buildup, I mean, is that just like, obviously everybody starts a match with ECM active, right?
Yeah.
Does the stealth armor heat buildup only happen like when you could be spotted, or is it like all the time when ECM is active? You know what I mean?
Sure. I don't know, maybe it's like an on and off thing.
I don't know.
Sort of
Yeah.
like how Mask is, where you can hold it for a certain amount of time.
Well, the impression I got from this was if you have ECM on, then your stealth armor is also on. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
But
So does this
now it
also
makes-
mean that the mechs with ECM capabilities will have the option of equipping stealth?
it seems like
Yeah,
it.
that's what it seems like. Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
only for mechs that use ECM, which I think shouldn't be allowed, maybe. Because I think that maybe gives a little bit too much advantage for ECM.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what they do with that.
I do wonder as well. Like they mentioned heat buildup. Is that like constantly it builds up more heat, or is it just like, hey, instead of 5% idle, now you're at 10% idle or something like that?
Not sure.
That'd be interesting.
All right, let's move on to the targeting computers. Maybe the least interesting one on the list, but a welcome addition, right? So inner sphere versions of the clan targeting computers. So targeting computer, I guess 1 through 6 will make their way over to. Is it 1 through 6 or are there more?
1
actually?
through 7.
I
7,
think it's 1
right?
through 7, yeah.
Yeah. Those should make their way over to inner sphere. So it's targeting computers.
Nice to have.
Nice to have if you by chance have the slots, but I don't know anybody that takes like a targeting computer, bigger than 3, honestly, right?
Yeah.
It's usually the others that you see.
The only thing that concerns me is what are they going to do with the command console that they have already for the inner sphere, which is kind of is that going to be better or different than the targeting computer, or?
Yeah, the command console seems to me like, it's like a quick hits, right? It's like the sensor range boost. It's like boom, 25% or whatever. This will let you be a little bit more granular with how much you want to increase, but maybe the command console kind of stays like the most effective way to get that range of benefits, compared to the target computer. But yeah, we'll see. All right, and then probably one of my favorites. I know a lot of people asked for this one as well. The laser anti-missile system. Awesome.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's going to be just as effective as a regular AMS. That'll be interesting because it uses no ammo, and it generates heat while it's fired.
Right. So they did introduce the mechanic, I think this was a year or 2 back, right, where the AMS actually does damage, right? It lists like, hey, it does 1.5 damage to the missile or something like that. So that's how they could mess with this, right? Yeah, I don't know how much health, quote unquote, a missile actually has when it's incoming, but if the regular AMS does 1.5, maybe this does 1 damage or maybe even slightly less. I'm already
imagining
imagining
a little bit more, only because it's going to generate heat when it's firing.
Right.
And hopefully you don't overheat, like you're in the middle of a firefight. A lot of missiles are coming your way.
Well, maybe you have to disable it, right? You're in the middle of a firefight, you say, oh man, I gotta be able to get away, let me disable this thing.
Yeah, because I think you can do that with the regular AMS. I think you can disable it.
Oh yeah, yes.
So probably you can do the same thing with the laser.
Definitely can.
AMS.
One thing that'll be really cool about this as well is, especially in some matches, right, there are so many LRMs flying around.
Yep.
And AMS does a great job, but now, the problem with AMS is it always runs out very quickly, right? You equip half a ton of AMS, that thing's gone, right? And it feels like 2 LRM 20 shots from the enemy, that thing is gone.
Yep.
So this thing at long ranges where you can't even engage the enemy yet anyway, right? It's like,
Yeah.
you have the infinite ammo. It's like the enemy is wasting his ammo by shooting his LRMs, and you're just defending yourself with laser AMS without really affecting anything because you can't shoot him yet anyway. So this is going to be a nice counter to those matches where you just have so many LRMs flying around.
Yep.
I feel more people will start using them now too.
I think so too. Yep.
Good.
Yeah. Now I am guessing that it might weigh a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. The current AMS is actually pretty light. I think it's half a ton for the AMS right now.
Yeah.
At most it's a ton, but I think it's half a ton. Maybe this thing actually weighs a ton though. So.
Maybe 2 tons. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Just a few left, but now we actually enter into the new clan technology, which not quite as many as for Inner Sphere, but let's still take a look at them. So light and heavy machine guns, we talked about those. This one was where we mentioned that the clan light machine gun is only a quarter. Excuse me, the current machine gun for clan is only a quarter ton. So how much is this thing going to weigh? I guess 1/10 of a ton or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Or maybe just keep them the same.
Or like
maybe.
you said, keep them the same, exactly. Yep, keep it the same weights and just mess with the other values. Yeah. All right, we've got the ER micro and micro pulse lasers. So.
Well, I just don't get why we need them.
I don't get it either. We already got the small laser.
Yeah,
it already does the damage it needs to do.
I guess ER micro is 0.25 tons, so
exactly,
we're going to start seeing ER micro novas running around.
No, I think these are just, again, you have that stupid half a ton, quarter ton left.
Yeah.
You happen to have a couple of energy hard points. Let's spend it on something. Hey, we'll equip these guys. Yeah, micro pulse laser, half a ton, ER micro laser, quarter ton.
Yeah.
There you go. Just fills in that lower gap.
How much damage you guys think it's gonna do? Like, I think
maybe
small laser, 6 damage, so it might do half.
I think 3, maybe 3 for ER, and then maybe like 4 for the pulse.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right, but we do get something a little bit more interesting in the next set. That is the heavy small laser, heavy medium laser, and heavy large laser. Man, a family of lasers that do high damage at the cost of higher heat and less range.
These are gonna pack a punch.
Yeah.
Especially the heavy large laser.
Yep.
I'm thinking like 14 damage or something like that. I think like regular ER large laser does 11 damage. I'm thinking I'm seriously thinking ER large laser is like what, 11 damage right now? Or is it 10? I can't quite remember at the moment. So I mean, it's a heavy large laser. I'm thinking like maybe half the range of maybe not half the range of ER large. I'm thinking like 14, 15 damage, just boom. You know?
Yep.
I wonder how long the duration is going to be for those. Since
Right.
ER
That's a
large
good
laser
point,
is
yeah.
already a long one. Will they make them longer or just as long?
Right. Regardless of all that, I really hope
powerful.
I really hope that they make these things, honestly, again, same as that we talked about for the PPC. So it's like, make them feel different. Using them, make them feel different from the other lasers.
Shoot different colors, I guess.
Shoot different colors.
Different
and when this thing
sounds.
fires, make it have a different sound, a punchier sound, like you said.
Yeah, heavier sound, yeah.
And what, ER large laser is 5 tons? I'm thinking this is going to be like 7 tons, the heavy large laser, 7 tons or so?
So, I imagine 6 tons, probably. I imagine maybe 6 tons, yeah. So they do mention high damage at a cost of higher heat and less range. So that's the trade-off there, higher heat and less range.
Yeah.
So that'll probably be the balance. 7 tons seems pretty high for a clan laser. Having said that, I mean, maybe that's, we've got the PPC for Inner Sphere at 7 tons, right? Maybe this is the 7 tonner of the clan.
Yeah. I think this will be a really good addition, though. Like, I can see like Novas running with like 12 heavy small lasers.
Right.
Like,
exactly. Yes.
Absolutely can destroy. Like that's gonna be awesome.
All right, we've got the light tag again. good,
I
I
mean,
guess.
tag was already at 1 ton.
It's 1 ton, so this thing is what, half a ton or
half a
3/4
ton,
tons?
probably.
Shorter range.
Don't really see the point of it.
The only thing I see, right, is you've got a Streak SRM heavy mech. They want to be able to ensure that their streaks lock on.
Yeah.
So you equip a light tag for that short range.
Yeah,
There
since
you go.
they don't need that long range.
Exactly. Yep. That way, yeah, you trade off, maybe half a ton more ammo compared to equipping the regular tag. Yep.
Yeah, good point. Yep.
All right, the next one is more interesting. The Advanced Tactical Missiles, written at 3, 6, 9s, and 12s. A missile whose damage will vary based on the distance traveled. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Higher damage up close, lower damage at long range.
So instead of having different, like I think the ATMs can have, or at least in the lore, it can have what?
3 different types of ammo.
3 different types of ammo.
Yeah, so at the explosive round, which was the high damage up close.
Yep.
That's the one I was
And they
thinking
had
of.
the
Yep.
normal, which was medium range, medium damage, and then extended range was the low damage but long range.
Right.
So they kind of combined, I guess, all 3 of them into one, except having to switch ammo. They just put them all together.
So I guess we're saying that ammo switching is probably out.
Yeah, ammo switching is out,
Even
yeah.
though I think that would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
A little
But then
more
again,
tactical.
if you choose a short range, but then you end up doing Alpine Peaks or something like that, I guess.
Well,
people,
of course, yeah.
People get aggravated by that.
You're always going to have that, though. Yeah, you're always going to
Yeah.
have that. But a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
It's still a good addition. I'm
but-
thinking this can be a great.
So, but these will be. I think these are good with the MRMs. They'll be good competitors, I guess you could say.
One thing that might have been interesting, right, is if they had introduced the mechanic, and I know they definitely wouldn't do this, right, but just a thought, right, if you get to choose your ammo in the dropship, right, so before you drop, you have the option to switch, right, so the ammo is just in the dropship, you equip it before you drop, right, anyway. All right, we've got the light active probe, again.
Same thing with light tag.
Yep, just if you want, it's like, hey, you really want to equip an active probe, but you only have what, a ton?
Maybe even half a ton.
Maybe even half a ton, yeah.
There you go, light active probe. Good. And finally, the laser AMS, which we talked about earlier. Clans also get the laser anti-missile system. All right, so that rounds out the new tech. Overall thoughts.
Overall,
Very
good addition. Good addition.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see how they implement it.
Interesting to see now. We're after those 4 new mechs. I'm predicting they're making even other mechs. So it's interesting to see what kind of new mechs we'll be getting.
Right. Yep.
And maybe even new weapons down the road.
Yep.
Maybe also not only a new mech, maybe a new weapon.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't.
I don't know if they're going to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet your bets. Place your bets on that. How long has it been since we got new weapons?
I mean, with the clan wave, and then we never got new weapons again until now, which was about 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be longer.
2.5, maybe?
2.5,
No, I
maybe.
think it'll be directly 2 years right when this comes out.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't place my bets on that, but
But it'll be interesting if they want. I don't know.
I think definitely if these are really, really well received, right, when they come out and they work really well and they're balanced.
Yeah, unlike when the clan stuff and they had to balance them over and over and over.
Right, if all that works out, then yeah, probably there's a higher chance. But all right, let's talk about concerns and things like that, and things that maybe were missed. Right? Yeah, I mean, how the heck if the community doesn't feel like, if some of the community doesn't feel like the current weapons are well balanced, how are they introducing so much new tech here and expect to really balance all that?
Some part of me feels like it will balance itself out by itself, kind of thing.
See, that's kind of interesting, right? I mean, maybe there's just so many choices now that, yeah, maybe some weapons kind of become obsolete, right? Because they're so, bad compared to other combinations. But there's so many more choices now that you're right, it kind of works itself out. It's kind of like, hey, well, if you don't like this, then here's another combination that works just as well as the current problems with the system or whatever, right? The balance issues, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely possible.
But then another concern is MRMs might be really overpowered if they all shoot like all at once, or does like 1 damage per missile, so it's gonna do like 40 damage, like splat or something like that. I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah.
A little concerned about the Gauss rifles actually. I mean, lately, last few matches I've had, I haven't seen too many Gauss rifles, but especially like Night Gears having 2 Gauss rifles. Oh wait, no, that's Clan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's a clan issue. I feel like that's
yeah.
just a clan issue. So this should actually help balance
Go
out
against
Interstellar.
that,
Yeah.
Because now you'd be seeing light Gauss and light PPC maybe put together.
Yep. Exactly.
Against that.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that's kind of disappointing to me, honestly, is okay, all these new weapons, no new consumables, nothing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
I think that's okay though. I think that's okay.
I don't know. I mean, is there really nothing else in terms of, you know, UAV, airstrike, cool shots, artillery, right? Is there nothing else? Is there really nothing else that could add some variety to the game from that perspective, right? Ermac and I were talking about frickin' smokescreen the other day.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe different type of artillery shots.
Why? Different type of artillery. Why? But why isn't there a smokescreen in the game today, right?
Yeah.
Where, again, like a lot of this stuff, I mentioned it earlier a little bit, a lot of this stuff is focused on damage, right? More assaults, right? More aggressive
Close range
gameplay.
brawl,
aggressive gameplay. We need some stuff on the other side as well. It's just my feel there, but I think that was a miss. You know, who knows what we'll see, obviously, right? But maybe that's next in line is to kind of revamp the consumable system. We'll see. Well, guys, that covers the new Civil War updates for tech and weapon systems and the new mechs. Anything else we want to talk about today?
I think we covered everything.
I think overall it's going to be a good addition.
It's gonna be good, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for the discussion. Again, thanks to everybody out there that tuned in for the first episode of Conversation Corner. Let us know your thoughts. Leave some comments below. Let us know what you think about the new systems, and stay tuned for episode 2 and more gameplay videos.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Take care.
see you guys.
See you guys later.